get into hormones and hormones, how they support or sort of inhibit progress in women and men. Can we start with women first? And see, because we have a lot happening in a month, right? We go through the menstrual cycle and then we have different levels of fluctuations.
Yeah. So, I mean, not to get into too much medical terms, but essentially for women, we go through this menstrual cycle, right? Every month. Different women will have anything from a 24 cycle length to 30 days. So it's nice to be able to track it, to track this. And the reason I say that is because in the menstrual cycle, we have 4 main phases. We have obviously the bleed phase, which is the menstrual, when we're bleeding. Then we've got the follicular phase, the ovulatory phase, and then we have the luteal phase. Okay, so those 4 phases is essentially determining the flux of hormones that are in our body. Now, we know menstrual cycle is because we women are fertile, right? So the whole point of the menstrual cycle is to take us through this so that we conceive on a monthly basis. And when we don't conceive, what happens is then our hormones or progesterone, the 2 main sex hormones in the woman is progesterone and estrogen. Progesterone will start to rise, and this you usually see 7 to 10 days before your period arises.
Okay.
So I don't know if you ladies already noticed, but track it. What you'll notice is that there's a lot of sleep disruptions during the luteal phase that are caused by the high hormone levels. Estrogen, progesterone are rising, a lot of sleep disruptions. We have difficulty during the luteal phase in terms of thermoregulation in our body. So we can tend to overheat, basically. So endurance athletes, people who run, do, long distance efforts, those are when they really have to take control of their hydration levels days before they hit that period. Because what's essentially happening is that women get to a higher body temperature before we start to sweat. So what happens is that for men, they sweat quite easily, basically. So they can cool their body down. But for women, this thermoregulation, we start to sweat at a higher point, which means that we're already hot. We have heat stress, when we go and exercise at certain times. So we have to be smart with things like that. Again, when it comes to training hard, if you're in your luteal phase, you'll notice because of the sleep disruptions and the fact that you're losing a lot more, just
fluid out
in general, you're not recovering as well. So if you're not very pertinent with that, you'll notice that your training volume during those 7 days is going to tank. I know there's a lot of trending topics about cycle syncing, where don't do this when you're in this part. I'll say try it for yourself. I'm not one of those people that are so like, oh my God, don't you dare run during your luteal phase. I would never say that because let's be realistic. If I never knew about this cycle syncing, and these studies that are done, I wouldn't have trained like that anyway. I would just say, especially during the luteal phase, which is 7 to 10 days before you get your period, pay special attention to rest and recovery. So I would prioritize sleep. Don't try and get that early morning workout. I'd say sleep in, try and if you can get that workout a little bit later on in the day, get that workout done then. Focus on sleep hygiene, making sure that you're not watching TV late at the night, no blue light emitting in your eyes, because again, those are the things that are going to disrupt our sleep and stop us from staying in a deep sleep cycle for longer. So quality sleep, eating well, hydration, not just water, but just making sure you're getting salt, getting those electrolytes to help kind of absorb that water and have your body kind of retain that hydration. So those are the real big things I would say in terms of a woman, in terms of where she needs to pay attention to in her cycle.
Okay. And is there a particular phase where they feel stronger? Because this is one of the things I hear a lot on media.
Yeah. So it's usually at the lowest point. So, we talked about, recovery is hardest when your hormone levels are at the highest. Your hormones are at the lowest once you start the bleed. So basically when you get your period. Some women, again, I would say some women feel like on the period, they feel a bit sluggish because again, there's a lot of blood loss and let's be honest, iron loss as well, right? Those are minerals and vitamins that we need to kind of replenish in our body, knowing that, we may be bleeding for 3 to 5 days. But really here, I would say it's for me specifically, the second day after my period, I find that I can rip it. I can give it my everything. Yeah. And again, without having ladies just take what I say for, what it is, test it, track your cycle, record the days, not just again when your period is coming and when you're in the different phases, but track cravings, track sleep, track mood swings, all of these things, track your ability to focus. Again, high hormones sometimes just mean that we're not operating at our best because we've got estrogen then and progesterone kind of battling with each other. And progesterone, particularly for women, is a catabolic hormone, which means that it causes our uterine lining to shed, which means that it also, unfortunately, has negative effects on muscle building. It's harder to build muscle during this stage because we are in a catabolic state. Estrogen, just like testosterone, is anabolic, so that is going to help us build. So I would say, again, if you're going to lift heavy, kind of do that maybe mid when you're on your period or towards the end, and you will find you have that energy, you have that drive to lift heavy as well. So might as well take advantage of those gains during that time.
That's fabulous. That's very insightful, because that's one of the things I think women go wrong. They don't understand why they're sluggish at one point and then picking up after some time.
Yeah, and emotional, let's be honest. Like, I'm a little bit more snappy. My husband knows this, unfortunately, but
just euphoric, right?
Absolutely.
And cravings for sweets.
So I'm like, it's hormones.
Oh my God,
it's hormones, Jimmy. You know what I mean? But let's be honest, that's the truth. People probably don't want to take that into consideration, but it is the truth. These things affect us.
Of course, and women have to deal with a lot more when you have to build muscle. So be gentle on yourself. Don't be rough on yourself, because we fluctuate a lot more in terms of hormones as opposed to men.
Yeah.
So you have to just worry about the testosterone levels, whether they're high or low, and then you're good to go.
I mean,
is that right?
Sorry, one more thing about is testosterone, and you can talk about testosterone because that's what they call the man's hormone. But in actual fact, women have testosterone as well. And those are things that, a balance of hormones is something that we should get checked, because if you're starting to notice changes in your sleep, disruption, your brain fog, your ability to focus, your cognitive function is declining, these are things that we want to get tested in terms of where they are in our body. Right? If women have very, very low testosterone levels, it may not be a good thing. Just as if we have very, very high testosterone levels, then we have other health issues that come on, with hormones being that high.
Yeah.
But just to say that women and men actually have the same hormones. It's just in varying quantities, and they have slightly different functions in a woman's body than they have in a man's body.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think even with training, if women understood these different phases and what is required from you. Obviously, you have to test and see in each phase what works for you the best.
Yeah.
But then again, it goes back to training and exercise. You need to have a plan, right? You can't just mindlessly go into the gym and try to do what you usually do and expect, results that way. So you have to understand these phases. You have to understand what works for you inside of these phases and train accordingly, right? And so build a training plan along those kind of guidelines.
Okay.
But yeah, for men, I think it's much simpler, right? The cycle rate is every 24 hours or so. And the big thing with men is, I think, making sure you're getting your thyroid checked, your testosterone checked regularly. Right, because those are the two things that are always stress destroys those two for men and women, right?
Okay.
And so I think the average man is highly stressed, right? Just for whatever reason, the way the world is built, the way society is structured, and so every man should check. Cortisol, which is a stress hormone, right? Inflammation markers, which is C-reactive protein, interleukin, there's a bunch, right? Go to your doctor, find those. And then testosterone and thyroid. Those are things that I'm constantly on top of.
Okay.
Because those are the regulators, right? You can check blood sugar and you can check, cholesterol and blood pressure and all of those things. But if you have your thyroid, testosterone and inflammatory markers in check, those things are probably going to be okay. You're probably doing all the right things to make sure those numbers are right.
Right.
So I would say those are like the 4 key things for men. And I'm speaking entirely from my experience and the people I've worked with the doctors, right? And so it changes depending on your history, right? Your family history, your
genetics,
your genetic history, your life experience and history. Like a lot of times what we ate when we were kids is affecting our gut health and our hormone kind of function right now. And so understanding and revisiting those things and giving doctors insight into those past behaviors makes a huge difference, right?
If you're really serious about your fitness, and then you need to be able to go through all these, take steps to make sure that your basics are covered, so that you know why you're not seeing results. Or
I think there are three things. I think the first thing is get data on your body composition. Get data on your blood work and have a training plan. If you get those three things, right, you can map out the perfect program. Right? From a supplementation standpoint, from a nutrition standpoint, from a lifestyle recovery standpoint, what kind of protocols you need to implement. If you get your blood work done and you get your body composition done, you're weaponized. Like you take this to your trainer and your doctor, and ideally your trainer and doctor are working together and they can map things out like to the T.
And it also just gives you a lot more focus. I think also a lot of people, when it comes to supplementation, they're just going to buy all of this stuff from GNC and then be like, oh, I'm taking all of this. But in actual fact, if your body already has it, all it's doing is excreting that out. So just think about all the wasted supplements and money that's just going down the drain. So don't just go to GNC or any supplement store and just be like, oh, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this.
Just because someone else is doing it and they're looking like that.
No, but 100%. So we like to say, get your blood tested. It will show you if you're deficient, and they will tell you need to supplement with iron or calcium or whatever it is. But don't just blindly purchase supplements, right? It can have adverse effects. It can be bad for you, for example, if we're getting too much of something. So the blood work is imperative in just giving us raw data for, hey, this is where you're deficient.
Even if you're in a group class, I think it's always good to have these tests done and have like a personal plan for you in terms of outside of the gym, right? So you're following something.
So you can't do everything in group classes, especially the nuances of movement. And so I think the way to utilize group classes and PTs is do the group classes. We go in 6-week cycles, like Alexi mentioned. And so inside the 6-week cycles, you're going to experience movements that you struggle with. Make note of those. Get in touch with one of the coaches. We literally have the link where you can just jump on a 10-minute call with them at any time. Whoever you're most comfortable with, talk to them. Hey, I'm struggling with the dip. I'm struggling with the deadlift. Every time I do it, this hurts. And then what they can do is you can book a PT and you can go into that PT and they will give you the specific things that you need to work on within those movements, whether it's a warm-up before training, before doing the class, or if it's a cool down, or if it's some extra mobility work, or if it's just some basic cues on how to execute the movement, from a proprioception standpoint. Feel this, feel that, I think that's where PTs should be utilized inside of a group setting. And we try to promote and, push this on without making it salesy. Right? Because it's not about the sale, it's about the value that brings, right? It's a complementary attachment to, just like you need help with nutrition, you need help with, your sleep and all that stuff, you need help with your movement, right? And so I think that's where you take the group class format and attach PTs as an add-on value to kind of accelerate progress.
That's right.
It's you're jumping. It's like you're running and then you're skipping steps every now and then.
That's right. And I think knowledge is key when it comes to fitness, because without which you'll be just training forever. Without seeing much results, or you won't be seeing results for a long period of time. So I think this combination between, if you're going to go for a group class, get yourself, move out and see where you're going wrong, fix it and come back in again. That should be a better approach. Okay, let's just slightly move into hydration. How important hydration is before, during, and after exercise, and how should we incorporate electrolytes into our daily water intake, and how does it help with our training and overall health?
I mean, hydration, like I said, especially for women, this goes for both sexes, but hydration is really important. I think people don't think about, number one, the effect that it has on our ability of our muscles to contract, and just for cognitive function. When it comes to hydration, we usually say try and aim for like a liter of water, or before and after exercise. And again, this is going to depend on how much you're sweating. Some people don't sweat that much. Some people, literally, their shoes are soaked at the end of training, right? So we need to be adjusting the volume of hydration depending on how much we're sweating. I think, Andy, if I'm not mistaken, it's what, 60% of your body weight in ounces. That's recommended, but I definitely drink more. I feel like that.
So at least 3 liters a day. Is that
3 to 4 liters?
Yeah. And if you have an electrolyte added to it, it helps further to sort of retain.
If you use that calculation, the average man will fall between 3.5 to 5 liters, and the average woman will fall between 2.5 to 3.5, 4 liters.
Does that include the water intake during
That's
training?
the whole day.
That's the whole day.
So like your total, and now depending on climate, so like if you're here in like Sri Lanka, 65-70% maybe,
and if you live in 40% humidity here, it's like you're constantly sweating
all the time. You're losing a lot of salt from your body, and you need to replace that as well, isn't it?
And so I think the number changes based on like, are you, like for us, we're coaching, we're on the floor, and we're sweating, and so we can't use that 60% recommendation. It has to go up a little bit. And so if you're sitting in the office all day, you're not exerting as much. You still need water, but not, maybe you stay at that 60%. But I think the important thing to understand is every function, your body is majority water, right? Like that should be enough for you to be convinced that you need water, right? And then every movement you do requires electrolytes. It requires salts. So if I'm doing that, if I'm moving my head, if I'm contracting a muscle, if I'm moving a joint, everything requires the fluids and electrolytes. And so in order to be an efficient mover and a good mover and someone that's functioning on a high level, you need to be hydrated, right? And so I think from an electrolyte standpoint, it's a good kind of way to do it is when you wake up in the morning, the first thing is add some salts. Right? You can have a sugar-free electrolyte tab, so it's 0 calories, or you can add some pink salt to it. Start your morning like that, because you've gone 12 hours or whatever without water, you're dehydrated, your body's used a lot of fluid for healing, right? And so wake up in the morning and hydrate, number one, right? Me personally, I drink 1 liter, and at the last 250 ml, I drop pink salts in it. That's like, I've been doing that for years.
Right. Just a spoon? Half a spoon?
I just take like a pinch
of salt,
and I throw it in there, right? And I can't really taste it, but there's a subtle touch of the salt in there.
The water tastes different.
It's slightly. Right? I don't put so much to where it's like, and I can't drink it. I just put a touch in there, boom. And now I feel a difference when I don't do that. Something that don't have the pink salt, I don't feel as hydrated. I can feel like my brain not working as well. Mostly the thing that I feel the most is the brain.
Is the brain.
The brain, like the way I
your ability to focus and stay focused. It's huge. When you're dehydrated, that cognitive function has halved. It's just like you're lack of sleep. Same thing. Like it's like you're drunk. So that plays a really, really important.
I think a good way to do it is hydrate as soon as you wake up in the morning. Water, electrolytes, and then if you do that, just regularly drink water based on thirst. So if you feel thirsty, drink water. But then I think the big thing is post-training. So there's a protocol that I've always done. Post-training recovery. The first thing is you need to recover your breath, oxygen, right? Second thing is you need to replenish electrolytes, right? Then it's carbs, then it's protein. So in that order, oxygen, electrolytes, carbs, and protein.
Right.
That's the sequence in what triggers recovery. And so as soon as you get done training, don't go and pop a protein shake. Get your breath down, replenish oxygen, right? Then electrolytes, replenish your depleted stores, then take your post-workout protein shake. And so
what's the window between training and the first
I like to,
intake?
The moment you hit your last set, recovery is started.
Okay.
The moment you hit the last set, whether it's stretching, whether it's breath work or whatever, the moment you hit your last rep, your recovery between now and the next session has begun.
But this is the thing also, people think that you have to have that meal all at once, all within that time frame. I mean, like Andy said, you can break that post-meal workout meal into 2 bits. Because let's be honest, right after you do a training session and it's heavy, you don't have the feeling of hunger.
Appetite. No, you don't have
Exactly. So you need to be able to start the recovery process, get a little bit of carbs in, and then later, maybe an hour when you feel a little bit more settled, you're out of that fight or flight, training scenario, then you start to get the rest of your meal in, so that's keeping you sated throughout the day and helping your body start to recover.
For sure. I think it's pretty simple. I mean, if you're dehydrated, your body's going to tell you. So it's pretty simple to you don't need to do any tests or stuff.
Okay.
If you're feeling like, you're-
Lightheaded?
Yeah.
Lightheaded, yeah.
And,
Dizzy?
and like, I think thirst is a really good,
Yeah.
good
Indication.
indicator. If you're thirsty, like drink more water. If you're getting thirsty too often, you probably are not drinking enough water and not enough salts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall, I think that protocol, just if you just hydrate in the morning and follow that hydration protocol post training, you'll get majority of what you need to do.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so we've had a power-packed conversation with the two of you today. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you
No
so
worries.
much, Andy, for coming on
Pleasure.
board with us today. And in a nutshell, training will enhance your quality of life, but then there are other things that you need to include that are as important, like your recovery, nutrition, and your emotions, like emotional regulation. All of that come into play when you're looking at fitness as a long-term game. We will cover most of it in our next podcast, and thank you for tuning in with us today. Until next week, see you.
Thank you.